And we are back. What is going on, beautiful people? Subs and Dubs, episode 6. Going over everything UFC Sao Paulo. Should be an amazing card from a fan perspective, from a betting perspective. I got a lot of the looks I love. And I brought my man Eli again with me. Last show was amazing. We were here for Makachev and Volk, and what a fight that was. And that's kind of where I want to start. So, Eli, first of all, how you doing? How's everything? And what you think of that card a couple weeks ago? Crazy, crazy shit.
Honestly, the card kind of sucked. Like, yeah, we were both so excited for it, and it's like, well, the main event was cool, but it was short. All the Doctor BS that
Yeah.
sucked. All the cheating that sucked. The fight that I was most excited to see, honestly, was uh, Magomed and Johnny Walker. That sucked. Like, I was very disappointed in the card overall. I just played some long shots and I didn't hit any of them. You did pretty well, I think. And yeah, I mean, Islam Makhachev is that guy. He's the pound for round number one. I don't need to see him fight Volk anymore. I don't need to see him fight. I mean, really anybody. Like, he's that guy. He is.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing. Just sticking with the main event. I actually lost a fair bit of money with a little two leg parlay, and the second leg of that parlay was the main event to see round two. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking lock. You know what I'm saying? We might see 2, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, might go to distance again. And Islam comes out there and just absolutely legendary performance. I don't think people I may be wrong, but I still don't think people really grasp what happened. I mean, Volkanovski is a boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? A couple years ago, we would have never guessed what would have happened to him, 2 weeks ago. We talked about all the concerns leading up to the fight, short notice, him flying across the world, having a baby, having surgery, all of that stuff. And I mean, you could say it played a factor or not, but Islam just beautiful performance to get one of the greatest fighters to ever step in the octagon, one of the greatest champions to ever step in the octagon, to get him out of there in 3 minutes with a fucking head kick. It just blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Yeah. And
Volkanovski was out. His head was bouncing off the canvas. It was crazy.
and like I'm kind of obviously I was pulling for Volk there. I had a little bit of money on Volk. Uh, Everything I said, I think I stand by. Like I didn't think cardio was really going to be an issue for him. It wasn't to some extent, right? Because a short camp and cardio does kind of play into the chin a little bit, but it's not like it was a long drag it out. 5 rounds of him getting worn down and all of that. Islam was like, nah, dude. Islam still, I think, doesn't get the respect that he deserves, for myself included, even honestly coming into this fight, because the names that he's beaten are kind of it's almost like a passing of the guard, like it was his belt, right? So he kind of just did what he was supposed to do. He beat Charles Oliveira, he beat everybody on the way up. Um, but I mean, what else do we need to see from this guy lightweight? Truly, like what is Justin Gaethje? I mean, that might be a fun fight. He's gonna roll through Justin Gaethje. Charles Oliveira, maybe that's a fun fight. He's gonna roll through the Sarukian fight. Maybe that's kind of interesting, but I still don't think so. And what's the guy? The other guy, Sarukian's fighting him. Benil Dariush. Maybe that's kind of interesting. He's gonna roll through all these guys, right? The only you're gonna. I tweeted this over the summer, and people thought this was one of the true stick to baseball tweets, which it's gonna sound ridiculous. I do kind of think the most interesting fight there, and again, Islam's gonna roll through all these people. Might be Justin Gaethje. I kind of hope that happens next, just because, like I said, I don't need to see Islam against any of these other guys. Can Gaethje's defend, he should be a good enough wrestler to defend that takedown better than most people. Um, Obviously, we know what his striking game is, but the fact that we're talking about that as one of the more interesting options in this division, like what else does this man need to do? Like, I don't care. He's fine.
Yeah, I think the thing that fascinates people with the Gaethje matchup is obviously the takedown defense on paper and then the power in his hands. But I mean, we see what Khabib did to him, and I don't.
Yeah,
There's just levels to this shit. I mean, there really is. I don't envision a world where Gaethje's stuffing takedowns. I don't envision a world where Gaethje's piecing them up, winning the striking exchanges, by a wide margin. I don't see that. Islam is not a one-dimensional fighter, as we just saw. The man just
yeah,
head kicked one of the
exactly.
best fighters in the world. So Islam has hands. The way he set up that sequence was amazing too. Low kick, body kick, low kick. Actually
And
tried the head kick once early in the round and just missed with the shit. Volk did a good job blocking it. And then yeah, and then
and
just finishes him.
Volk, technically speaking, was in the right spot to
Yeah.
block the one that knocked him out too. He
But you
did that
saw you saw the little lean, you know what I'm saying? He a
that
little
and
lean because he thought something was coming low.
you're
So his
supposed to
hand was in the right place.
you're supposed to kind of use both arms and like deflect and block, I think, which he
Yeah.
didn't get that second arm, but still the precision and the game planning of Islam to know that he's got to go over the top of that hand. Hey, his hand is going to be right here at the height. Like it was brilliant. I mean,
Yeah, it was
it's that
fucking
guy.
incredible. I can't wait to see what his next fight is. I can't wait to see how juicy he is in his next fight. Probably Oliveira. We probably get that. Which is interesting. It creates dynamics. Charles Oliveira creates chaos, and that always makes for an interesting fight. But yeah, just amazing, just absolute scenes. We're gonna look back on that 10 years from now, and it'll still be replaying and all the highlight reels and shit like that. So just amazing time to be alive and to witness what we're witnessing. But yeah,
Did
without further
you
ado, what's
hang
up?
on, bro? Can we talk about one more thing? And this is
Yeah,
insane too. Did you see what DC said about his next fight? Who Islam's next fight should be?
who?
Okay, so this isn't going to happen, probably. The talk is that they want Conor McGregor to fight UFC 300,
Oh
right?
God,
That
please
so hang
no.
on, that kind of makes sense, right? That they wanted to fight UFC 300. You can't you can't end UFC 300 without a title fight, and also you're not going to have Conor McGregor on a pay-per-view card where he's not the last fight.
I
And
think if Connor,
let me be very clear. Islam is gonna run that's not gonna happen. If it happens, Islam runs through him, right?
yeah,
But DC when he first said it, I was like, that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous. Like, there's no way. But who is the only guy really in the UFC that Islam could beat right now and be star power wise up there with Khabib? There's
yeah, I think
Conor McGregor, and that's the end of the list. Kind of
yeah,
makes sense
I
from those
think
standpoints.
I think DC's saying that one because he's friends with Makachev and he knows
100%,
that that's the biggest fight and the biggest
100%.
payday. And if Connor comes back and fights for the lightweight title, I think that's a disgrace to the sport. But we've
It
seen that
is.
happen before. We've seen that happen before with Connor just jumping the line and stuff like that. I don't know if Connor's going to accept that fight. I know, yeah, why not accept the fight for the belt? But I think he's more keen on. First of all, I think the UFC wants him to fight Chandler, and I think he's more keen on going to 170 and kind of taking some opportunities up there. Um, I mean, it'd be interesting. Connor always has that chance. I feel like, but
Is there a
it's
bigger
a
if you're Dana White, though, is there a bigger money fight? Is there a bigger money fight other than Ngannou Jones? Nope.
I mean,
I don't think there's one close, man. It's not gonna happen. Let me be very clear. It shouldn't happen, and it's not gonna happen. But, like,
yeah, I mean,
it's not I don't think it's as crazy when you think about who Dana White is, what he cares
yeah,
about, and how it's lining up logistically. Because if you want Conor to fight UFC 300, he's got to be the last fight, and it's not going to
yeah,
be like is it Gaethje for the being like I don't know. It's just interesting, just interesting.
yeah. Imagine they stick him on a co-main slot on
Not going to
300
happen.
against Michael
Not going
Chandler.
to happen. There's no
Yeah, I
way.
mean, he could headline a card without a title. I mean, he could. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
what
but
the
they're not
UFC
going to do
wants.
that for UFC 300. And
Yeah, yeah,
if that's the Conor comeback, right? Is it all kind of made when you start to really think about it, you're like, what goes from a 0% chance to maybe like a 2.5, 3% chance of happening, you know?
yeah. Maybe we'll
Hey, at
see.
least
It's gonna
it'd
be.
be kind of fun, you know?
Yeah, of course, it'd be fun. I'd watch it. I'd pay for it. I'd watch it, and it'd be a great time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, what the fuck is he going to be against Connor? -700 is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd probably let it juice.
Yeah, I later do. Yeah, a 20 unit max play.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. The reason why you guys are here, UFC Sao Paulo. So we did lose a couple of fights due to some huge weight misses. I don't know what the fuck is in that Brazilian water, but yeah, you know, these girls and gals, I said that wrong. These guys and gals fighting in their backyard, missing weight by 4 or 5 pounds. It's crazy to me. But yeah, we lost a couple of fights. We lost one of the Bonfim brothers, and who else did we lose? We lost.
Um,
Can't think of it off the top of my fucking head, but
Santos, right?
no, we didn't lose Dos
Oh,
Santos.
Hugo.
Um, yes, the Hugo fight, which yeah, Hugo Marcos fight, which I like Marcos in that fight. I was gonna play Marcos. I think that was a fascinating fight. I think Marcos was gonna throw check Hugo, but that's besides the point. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, Coway Fernandez going against Mark Diakase. Best line you can get right now on Diakase is minus 188 on FanDuel using the Pick a Sports app. Best comeback on Fernandez is plus 164. So this is an interesting fight. I know some people that I respect on the Fernandez side taking a shot at the plus money. This line has jumped around all over the place. So I got in on Diakase at minus 125. But full transparency, I would not lay close to minus 190 with Diakase. I also would not parlay him. So that makes for a tough spot as we're going live now with the current odds. You know, maybe take a round 3 decision prop, or just stay off at this current price. There's you know, no, you know, it's okay to stay off of spots, especially when the line escapes you. So, yeah, Diakase at, you know, he was at minus 115, then minus 120, then minus 125, and then just kind of slowly creeping up since then. But yeah, I like this spot for Diakase. You know, buy low spot. I think recency bias may have affected the early line coming off the Alvarez fight. Just brutal luck, terrible ref in that fight. You know, the headbutt kind of led to the finishing sequence. And DKC lost that fight due to a terrible fucking ref. But he might be fighting for his job. You know, he's an exciting fighter and he has a lot of UFC fights, but 2 fight losing streak. You know, you lose if you come in and lose to a UFC debutant. The UFC is making, you know, cuts. Seems like every week now. So, you know, maybe fighting for his job. You know, he's come out, you know, in that picture right there, that was the ceremonial weigh-ins. He had a lot of heat on him, a lot of passion. He was flipping off the Brazilian crowd and getting in Fernandez's face. So I think he understands the moment too. I think it's a good stylistic matchup. You know, Diakase is a vet in the game, 15 UFC fights. He's had his up and downs, obviously, but still only 30 years old, you know, right in his prime. And he's evolved into a really, really well-rounded fighter. He's really worked on his cardio. If you look, you know, 5 or 6 fights ago, cardio was a major question mark. And I think he's worked on that, which shows you putting in the, you know, you putting in the road work, you putting in the work behind the scenes to improve something like that. You know, he went a hard 15 minutes, 3 of his last 4 fights, some grueling paces in those fights too. So a hard 15 minutes. Dynamic striker, great kicks, good striking defense, very defensively aware. Despite what others may tell you, you know, in my opinion, I do think he's durable as well. You know, he's been hurt before. Obviously, it's a fist fight. You know, a few club of subs, but he's never been knocked out. You know, the Alvarez fight, people want to. I'm seeing countless people pointing to the Alvarez fight, um, and trying to say there's a lack of durability. The man got a legally headbutt, and the shot that you don't see coming or don't expect is what's going to hurt you the most. And Diakase was obviously expecting the ref to do his job, which he didn't, and Alvarez just pounced on him. Alvarez is a killer. So, um, you know, and now we're seeing kind of that D1 Diakase, right? He's really improved his offensive wrestling. He's using it a ton more. He came into the UFC as kind of a brawler, right? An exciting striker. And now he is not that. He mixes in the offensive wrestling to win fights. You know, he took Alvarez down. He attempted six takedowns versus Michael Johnson. He didn't get any, but he attempted 6, and then absolutely dominated Hazovich and Borashev with his offensive wrestling. So, you know, on the Fernandez side, you know, he's making his UFC debut off a good run at LFA. He's a BJJ black belt, you know, opportunistic sub game. He's active off his back. Really dangerous guard, right? You got to be careful in his fucking guard. You know, nasty calf kicks, which Diakase can be susceptible to. Great head kick, especially in close. I think that's like his signature move, you know,
He's
as from what
dangerous on
I'm
the feet
seeing.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, you know, he
super
loves
dangerous.
that, you know, that head kick off of the clinch that, you know, in boxing range. I don't know how he pulls that off, but he loves that kick. He throws it in several fights. His last fight was actually a knockout off of that move, off a you know, head kick off the clinch. It was beautiful. It was amazing.
That's
I don't love the
disgusting.
striking. Yeah, it was
That's
nasty.
disgusting.
I don't love the striking. You know, it's pretty wild with his hands. I don't love his technicality with his hands. Striking defense is a great, you know, hands down pawn kind of style, which I don't love. And yeah, I just think this is a good spot for Casey. I think he's going to be faster, more athletic, more experience. He has twice the amount of UFC experience than Fernandez has pro experience. Obviously much better comp, major cardio edge in my mind. We've seen Fernandez absolutely death gas. I see a lot of people making excuses for him. I really don't know why. That Sardinia fight, he absolutely gassed. He was coming off a long layoff. But a lot of people do. A lot of people come off long layoffs. I don't think there's ever any excuse to gas 4 minutes into that fight. I can't unsee that shit. So, you know, um, yeah, seen him gas back to back fight. He also gassed a little bit in that Rodriguez fight that went to decision. Yeah, I think Casey has many ways to win this fight. I think he can win by decision. Obviously, he's been a decisionator his last couple of fights, but offensive wrestling, I think he win minutes that way. I think Fernandez will find himself on his back. I think Casey can control him, and Casey just has to fight smart, right? Be smart in his guard, be aware in his guard, which he showed he can do. He was really smart and really aware in Alvarez's guard. I think if Casey comes out, fights smart, right? We've seen some fights like the what was the fight before the let me check real quick. The fight before the
Alves,
Alvarez fight.
Z, Johnson,
Yeah, the not really the Michael Johnson fight, but Probably the
Hadzovich.
probably the Alves fight. He comes out and he's so aggressive with the striking, and then we see sometimes like the Hazovich fight, the Boroshev fight. He knows where his edge is, and he comes out and he executes the game plan almost right away. And I talk about that a lot because I love that shit. Do what you're best at, do where you have the biggest edge, and do it right away. Right? There's only 15 minutes to do what you want to do. So I think he's gonna win minutes with the hands. I think he's gonna win moments of the round. I think he's gonna win control time. Most likely, Casey by decision. If you want to play that, I think that's a good way to get the juice down. But I think Fernandez gasses. Well, I think it's like a 50-50 chance, right? There's a lot of unknowns with Fernandez. 50-50 chance he gasses. I don't want to take that chance. 50% chance you absolutely death gas in the second round. That's horrible. So if he gasses, Casey obviously is much, much more live to finish him. But I'm gonna go Casey. I locked him in at minus 125. Like I said, I would not play where it is now, but Casey by decision or late round props. I really, really like Casey in this matchup. What do you think, Eli?
I think the -125 was about right. I think DKC is better. I'm not as down of a lot of people are on DKC, but I'm kind of down on him just because he did kind of come in as this fun, exciting striker, and now it's almost like he only wants to grapple, which is like, that's just kind of boring to watch. And listen, Cowie is very dangerous. He's dangerous. He can knock him out. This is one that I think you can sprinkle a little bit on like Cowie first round, and then also a larger risk on DKC decision, maybe DKC in the third, like you were saying. I think that's a great look. But Cowie's is very dangerous. I think he is skilled. Trains in Jose Aldo's gym down there in Brazil, which is kind of the gym in Brazil, and obviously going to be a big home crowd advantage for him too. So I'm with you. I would like it at -125. I would not like it any bigger than that.
Yeah, 100% agree. And like I said before, I would not endorse parlaying him either. I like him as a straight bet. I do love him, but it's a way different ball game when you're talking betting wise. What you want to parlay, what you don't want to parlay, and I think that's a perfect segue into this next fight. Talking about not wanting to parlay shit. Um,
Yikes! This fight is yikes.
yeah, next fight we have women's strawweight division. Eduarda Mora is going against Montserrat Conejo Ruiz. So this line has gotten absolutely ridiculous. So the best line you can find right now on Mora is -620 on FanDuel. Best
What?
comeback on on Montserrat Ruiz is +460. So Eli, if you have any thoughts on this fight, I'll let you kick it off, and then I'll bring up the rear, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, Ruiz isn't very good. She's not very good. I mean, her only path to victory is shoot a double leg and like the bad boring parts of oh my god, what is that guy's name? Who shot he attempted like 100 takedowns versus Piotr Jan, Philly. She's like the really boring parts of Murad Philly's game. This is Ruiz. Like, she just wants to shoot a double leg and try to lay on you for 3 rounds and get a control time victory. Um, which is how she got the win against what's her name that uh cheated on her husband or
Cheyenne,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
Cheyenne Bucks.
Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Blismus, um, which I think is her only I think it's her only really kind of decent win. Um, but it's not like Mora is like really good, like she has skills. She's definitely better than Ruiz. She's not -600 better than Ruiz. But I can't even with what I said on last show, how there's never that big of a favorite in low level women's fight. I'm not laying plus what it's not even worth plus 400 whatever it is on Ruiz to me right now because I don't think she's very good. I'm out on this fight all the way. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna do something that should not be done. I don't
Okay.
advise you do it. It's not plus EV. It's probably not a good bet to be transparent with you guys, but I'm gonna parlay Eduardo Mora, and I might have her as an anchor in two of my parlays. I'm just keeping it a buck.
She's good. She should absolutely win this
Yeah,
fight. She
I
should
mean,
absolutely
I
easily win
think
this fight.
I think part of it is that she's decent, but I think the other part is Conejo is just fucking
She's
terrible.
really bad.
With all
She's
due
really
with all
bad.
due respect.
If
Yeah, I
she was
mean,
this is I shouldn't say what I was gonna say. Never mind. I was gonna say, like, if she was ugly, she's probably not in the UFC,
I think they just need
honestly.
girls to kind of fill out the roster.
Yeah.
I think they need stepping stones for ladies like Mora coming off early in her career, not a lot of pro fights, but yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, on the Mora side, undefeated, 9-0, 8 finishes, 7 in the first round, and most of them just coming by from dominant positions, right? She's dominating girls. Only been a pro for a year and a half, which is kind of crazy, right? She's in a big show. Only been a pro for a year and a half, but she seems fairly well developed for only a year and a half. She wants to take you down. She wants to beat you the fuck up. Good offensive wrestler, great grappler, dangerous, which is a dangerous combo, right? If you can if you can use your grappling by actually having wrestling and getting it to where you want it to, that's a dangerous combination. We've seen her. She absolutely ran through Silva on Dana White's Contender Series, took her down within 10 seconds, beat her the fuck up, and finished her. Very aggressive on top. She's nasty. She is aggressive. She's nasty. She's physical. She got that. It looks like she got that fucking dog in her. We haven't seen it tested, but I think when that time does come, I think she'll prove she got that dog in her. But she uses nasty ground and pound. She uses it to set up the rear naked choke, which seems to be her favorite sub. Even in the regional tape, for somebody that's new to the game, she looks fairly composed. She fights relatively smart. Again, it's versus low level comp, but you can only fight what's in front of you. Um, yeah, I mean, on the Conejo side, she just hasn't been active. One fight in 2.5 years. Decent record on paper, right? You look at the record on paper for you ESPN cappers. She's 10-3. She started her pro career on an eight fight win streak, but the level of competition is just as low as it gets. And once she got to the big show, she struggled. She has a head and arm throw, and that's it. She's head and arm throw a bust. I never thought I would say that sentence, but she is head and arm throw a bust. And we saw that, Eli mentioned it. We saw that in the Cheyenne Bays fight. When the fight was standing, Cheyenne Bays was piecing her the fuck up. And Cheyenne
Vlismus.
Bays,
Cheyenne Vlismus now.
I'm gonna just say Cheyenne, whatever the fuck. Cheyenne was piecing her the fuck up, and I don't rate Cheyenne's hands to be anything extraordinary. But she just could not stop one move. She just could not stop the head and arm throw. Every single round, she got head and arm throw. She got controlled in that position, and she had no fucking answer for it. Which is kind of crazy. Ruiz's best trait is a toughness. She got that Mexican heart, that Mexican spirit. But whenever that's your best trait, that's never a good thing. So, if I want to reach for good things to say, decent kicks, decent cardio, decent top pressure. But like I said, I'm just reaching as of right now. You guys see the picture right there. Mora's gonna have a 6-inch height advantage, 6-inch reach advantage.
Mora
Um,
looks big for 115, and I mean,
she is,
obviously so she missed weight by 4 pounds at
yeah,
150 like, 4 pounds at that weight class is a lot. Like, I think she's gonna have to go up. Like, let's win this fight and reevaluate. But yeah, I mean, this is she's Ruiz is not head throwing Mora around, just I think purely on
no,
size, like she
no,
did to because I
yeah,
think
and that's what I
Mora's
was gonna
gonna
say,
have to
right?
fight at 125. Yeah.
Yeah, she can't. She's not even going to be able to reach her fucking
Yeah.
head to get the head and arm choke. So yeah, that's worth mentioning as well. Obviously, the 4.5 pound weight miss. The reports came out that she was on her time in a month, and she also has a disorder that kind of makes that time in a month worse. So yeah, you can make an excuse for her, but I mean, 5 pounds, like you said, that's a big percentage, huge percentage of the weight. And I think it's going to only help her in this matchup. She's going to be able to, do the typical Brazilian weight bully shit. Canejo's already tiny for the division. She should be at atom weight. She's absolutely fucking tiny. She's 5 foot.
Can we get an atom weight
Um,
in UFC, Dana White? Like, come on.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Yeah, Dan.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe no featherweight. You add atom weight. I think that's a pretty good idea. And you see it even in the weigh-ins. I mean, Conejo weighed in at 114 and a half, so she's under the
yeah.
limit for 115. So yeah, I think more absolutely runs through Conejo. I mean, it's not going to be a fair fight in the striking. It's not going to be a fair fight in the wrestling or the grappling. I think more gets the dominant positions and finishes her. That's the tough part for me because obviously it's a WMMA fight, but if you look at the lines, this fight is like minus 200 not to go to decision, which is very rare in a WMMA fight. And I think 99% of that equity is on the Morris side. And I think the
Oh, 100.
bookmakers know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she could do it in the first round. I think, I think she could do it in the second round. I think it's a first or second round finish. So I'm gonna find some props to kind of go along with that. But yeah, I think I talked a lot about a minus fucking 600 favorite, but yeah, I think she runs through her. I think she runs through her. Let's get to a more exciting fight, a more interesting fight. One of the Twitter civil wars of the week. So we got Angela Overkill Hill versus Denise Gomez. Best odds you can get right now using the Pick a Sports app. Denise Gomez minus 130 on points bet. Angela Hill plus 125 on Barstool. So I'll kick this off because I do have a play in this fight. I took Denise Gomes at minus 120. Feels fairly unpopular. Hill seems to be a very public dog this week. I'm hearing some things that I just blatantly disagree with. People are saying Hill is levels above Gomes everywhere. And while Hill may have some advantages, some slight advantages, I don't think there's a major gap anywhere this fight goes. I can see why Hill is a public dog. How can you not love Angela Hill? Absolute vet in the game, a staple in WMMA. She deserves much, much respect. I don't give a fuck if she's 10-13 in the UFC. She deserves a lot of respect. She's fought the who's who across two weight divisions. This is going to be her 24th UFC fight, dating back a decade ago. Not a lot of women can say that they had that longevity.
She's gotta be one of the most active fighters in UFC, and I think she's
Absolutely,
also the
100%.
first black woman to fight in UFC, I
It's a
think,
headline,
don't
yeah.
quote me
It's a
on that.
headline.
I'm a big Angie Hill fan, but yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. First African American woman to headline a card, which again, history, right? She deserves a bunch of respect. But like I said, I like Gomes in this matchup. There's some clear red flags on a hillside, 38 years old, and a lot of points of contention, at least in my opinion. People are saying, oh, Hill looks better than ever. I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree. I think Hill is slowing down, and I think Hill has kind of adapted her style, right? I don't think people are saying, "Oh, Hill's movement is going to be a problem." With her age, I think she kind of knows she's slowing down. That she knows she's obviously getting a little bit older. She's a lot less bouncy from the outside. She's a lot less movement on the outside. She still likes to bounce and get in and out of distance, but she's more plodding now. She's more forward pressure, a little bit heavier on her feet, and I think that's terrible in this matchup. I really do. I think Gomes is another one of those women who has something in WMMA that is very, very rare, which is that one shot knockout power. I don't know why I said it like that. Power, that one shot knockout power, and that just brutal physicality. Right, she's going to be the much more physical girl in there. She looks a little bit smaller in the weigh-ins, but she's going to be much more physical, much stronger. People are also saying that Hill has a crazy advantage in the wrestling department, um, which I can see. I can see Hill landing some takedowns, getting some top time if she decides to do so. But I also see Gomes doing the same thing. I think Gomes can surprise Hill with some shots, set it up with the hands, and I think Gomes can control some top, can secure some top time as well. So Hill's never been knocked out, but we've seen her hurt many, many times. She's coming off that absolute demolition by Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie fucking Dern won almost all of the striking exchanges, and Mackenzie Dern's hands are improving, but she's still not a striker. She's a grappler, and Hill was getting absolutely fucking pieced up. So, I really don't like Hill striking defense either. I think it's only getting worse as the years go on. Denise Gomez is gonna land one or two humongous shots in this fight. And if Hill takes them, like she has throughout her career, I tip my hat to you. But there's gonna come a point where that chin gets cracked, and I think there's a really, really decent chance that happens in this fight. So I think Denise Gomez is gonna use her physicality to win minutes. I think she's gonna win the moments. Obviously, every shot she lands, the Brazilian crowd is gonna be going crazy. One really really big strike might be the round, might win a round for her because Angela Hill seems to always fight close, a lot of split decisions. She has relatively no power in her hands. So yeah, I like Denise Gomez as a short favorite. I think it's gonna be. I kind of feel on a little island. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of smart people that are on Hill at the plus money, but that line within itself is a little bit surprising. You're getting Hill at plus 130, plus 140. Why? Why is that?
Yeah,
So
no, and I'm with you. I'm absolutely gonna be rooting for Angela Hill tomorrow
yeah,
night. Like I'm a huge fan. I mean, just purely on activity. Like it seems like she's always fighting. Maybe not as much this year, but I mean that 2021, 3 plus fights
yeah,
all the time, which you don't see across all of UFC. So huge respect. I'm with you. The skill gap is much larger. I feel like Gomez, Denise, however the hell you said, I feel like she's a minus 250, or worse. So I think the value is there. But is there an experience discrepancy? Yeah, yeah. Angela Hill's been in the octagon for a long time, with a lot of the I guess the bigger names in women's MMA. So uh, that's kind of all she's got to stand on there. I think the skill gap is very large in the Gomez side. I'm with you.
yeah. I mean Gomez is still young too, right? So we're gonna see, maybe every time out we're gonna see the best version of her. She's still young, and Angela Hill, as these years creep up, you're pushing 40. Every fight means a lot more. Every you can see steep declines in a lot of things, physicality, chin, cardio, a lot of those things. So yeah, I think buying into the upside of Gomes, combining that with what you've already seen, and kind of banking on Hill slowing down a little bit, and yeah, her just not being as physical and not being a moment winner, I think is huge in WMMA. The physicality and that power is gonna solely win you fights in WMMA. So yeah, yeah, and I agree. I think she has a chance to look minus 200. If I was the bookmaker, I'd make this line minus 150, minus 155 five Gomes. But who the fuck am I? I'm not a bookmaker. So,
Me neither.
um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's move on. Next fight we have Vitor Petrino fighting Modestas Bukauskas. Best line you can get right now using the Pick a Sports app on Vitor Petrino is minus 223 on points bet. Best comeback on Modestas Bukauskas is plus 220. Eli, any thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Petrino, I definitely think should win the fight. But I'm not laying 245 on him because Bukowskis is can absolutely knock you out. But I mean, the grappling advantage I think is pretty clearly in the Petrino corner. But do you know me? I bet home runs. You know what I mean? I'm not laying 245 on pretty much anybody, especially not with a guy on the other side. He definitely knock him out. I mean, this should be a more fun fight than minus 245. I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree. You're going for
Alright.
home runs. I'm going for bunt singles, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the runner over. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? So
Yeah.
so I laid the minus 225 with Vitor Petrino. I think he's gonna look minus 500 in this fight. Modestas Bukauskas is his second stint in the UFC,
Yep.
and we've kind of seen it all play out. His first stint with the UFC, he picked up a win in his debut, I believe, and then two straight
Jimmy
fights
Crute. Yeah.
versus
Jimmy
guys
Crute.
with power. Say it
Yep.
again.
Jimmy Crute. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's he got brutally knocked out versus Crute, brutally knocked out versus Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree hit him with that side kick to the knee and completely destroyed his fucking kneecap. And that just I think that's the blueprint, right? Whenever Bukowskis is fighting guys that are going to be physical, going to have power, going to push forward, and are going to hit him in the fucking face, he struggles. And he went back to Cage Warriors, did his thing, got his belt back, and now he's back in the UFC. And he's on a little bit of a win streak. His last fight against Pauga, I bet Pauga as a short favorite. No, I think it was a short dog actually. I bet Pauga in that spot. I love the spot. I was tooting Pauga's horn the whole fucking week, and in my mind, he won. In my mind, Bukowskis lost that fight. One judge in that fight gave Bukowskis a 30-27, which is absolutely fucking asinine. Pauga won the first and second round pretty handily, in my opinion. Third round, you can make a case for Bukowskis, and that's Zach Pauga. That's Zach Pauga, who is by far not on the level of Vitor Petrino. Not going to be as powerful. Not gonna pose that threat in the offensive wrestling. And yeah, Bukowskis is just extremely boring. He's low volume. He does some things well. Very nasty kicks, very nasty high kick. He can crack. I don't think he has devastating knockout power, but he can definitely crack. It's middleweight division. Or I'm sorry, light heavyweight division. These are big fucking boys. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
he can definitely crack, but he's fucking boring. Imagine betting on Bukowskis, even as a 2-1 dog,
Yeah.
and 10 minutes go by and you're screaming at your TV wanting him to throw strikes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like the look of it when he's getting pressured. It looks like he does not like to get hit, and I think that's his kryptonite. A guy that's going to push forward, pressure him, and put hands on him. And in comes Vitor fucking Petrino. So Vitor Petrino, just I think is the encapsulation of just everything I love when I'm watching MMA. He's 26 years old. This is going to be his fourth UFC fight if you count Dana White's Contender Series, and the evolution fight by fight is remarkable. His hands are getting cleaner. He's always had that power, but his hands are getting much cleaner. His jab is looking nasty.
He can
You know,
grapple too. Yeah.
yeah, and that's part of the game that he's evolving, right? He's completely from scratch evolving that offensive wrestling and grappling game, which is what I love to see. Pragnell, people shit on Pragnell. He's not that good. And I agree, he's not that good, but still, Petrino dominated him in that fight and got him out of there and did exactly what he should do, which is get him out of there and finish him. And he did it in the third round. So, his cardio, I think he has decent cardio, especially for, a really muscular, really powerful guy. The cardio, I don't really question. And yeah, he can win minutes and win moments any way he fucking wants with the striking, with the devastating power, with forward pressure. I think he's a little bit similar, and call me crazy, but when I'm watching him, I think he's a little bit similar to Alex Pereira. You know what I'm saying? Both Brazilian. Alex Pereira is a little bit more heavy on the feet. Vitor likes to bounce a little bit more, but nasty left hook, right? Nasty jab,
Yeah.
and just kind of keeping his hands a little low, throwing from the hip. Yeah, I love Vitor Petrino. The my man Lou Betcher. I was watching the show. My man Lou Betcher. Check him out if you haven't already. He made a really great point. The coachability is what I love to see. In that Pragnell fight, he's watching his coaches, listening to his coaches. His coaches are walking him through, grappling sequences, especially in the third round, and he's hitting them with bombs on the ground and still listening to his coaches and doing exactly what his coaches want him to do, which is what I love to see. You're aware enough to listen to advice and to execute that advice. I love that shit. So he's 26 years old. He's going to keep improving. I think we're going to see the best Petrino we've ever seen at this age, at this point in his career. I think it's a showcase spot. You know what I'm saying? I really do. 9-0, 7 finishes. I think this is a showcase spot for Petrino. So that's why I lay the juice. And I might double dip. You know what I'm saying? I might double dip on Petrino. I love Petrino on this spot. I think he gets him out of there. Now the sub or the KO is a little bit tricky in my mind because, like we said, he's working on that. He's being way more aggressive with his offensive wrestling. So yeah, I think he gets him out of there. Round 2, round 3. I really do. So yeah, give me Petrino. I lay the juice, laid the fucking hammer down, and yeah, that's what I like.
I sub at plus 450 is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd want to. I'd want a
I
little.
can't argue with anything.
Yeah, I'd want a little bit more because I still think that's the second most
Mhm.
um
Yeah, you're right.
liable thing to happen. But I want a little bit more. What book is that? Is that FanDuel?
DraftKings.
Okay, FanDuel is usually a little bit better with the odds, so I'll check it on there. But yeah, if I can get like plus 600 on a sub, I'm gonna take that. All right, moving on. Next fight we have. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this one. I don't. Elvis Brenner versus
Nothing.
Krzyzewski. Yeah, I have no thoughts on that fight, so we will skip along. If you guys have any questions about that fight, feel free to ask, and we'll get to it. But next fight, pretty interesting one. Renat Fakhretdinov
Renat.
going against Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, EZ Dos. So the best price you can get right now on Fakhretdinov is minus 323. Best price you can get on Easy Dose is plus 290 on Barstool. Eli, why don't you kick us off, my brother?
I'm very high on Renat. I'm very high on Renat. This guy can wrestle with anybody, anybody in that division. I'll be honest, I didn't do a whole lot of research on Dos Santos. I looked at the line and I was like, yeah, Renat should win that easily. I don't really care, you know what I mean? But I'm very high on Renat. We'll see how far he can go in the welterweight division. I think he's kind of old to be making a run here at welterweight. I think, right? He's
32.
okay. Maybe I'm just an idiot. But a very experienced wrestler, very experienced and other. I forget where he's coming from. in other organizations. This guy is legit. I'm really high on Renat.
Yeah, I agree. Seems to be an absolute boogeyman of the division. So I'm on right now too. I'm gonna parlay him up. Which again may not be the smartest move. I think this line can look a little bit wide once the fight plays out. Easy Dose is dangerous.
Yeah,
He's a vet in the game, 24 wins, 17 of those coming by finish. He's been a little bit of a decisionator as of late, but he is dangerous, but he's liable to be taken down. We've seen it happen, Nurmagomedov, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, by far the worst Nurmagomedov in the history of Nurmagomedovs, by far the worst. And he still took him down. And say what you want, it's a super, super close fight, but Nurmagomedov won a split decision. And then a lot of people want to point to the Benoit Saint Denis fight. Yeah, he fucked him up. He fucked Benoit Saint Denis up, but that was Benoit Saint Denis' UFC debut, and we've seen Benoit evolve right in front of our eyes. Benoit's had I think 4 fights after that, and Benoit is a lot more willing to wrestle. I don't know if Easy Dose kind of beat the sense into him, but he's a lot more willing to wrestle, and he's a lot more aggressive with the wrestling. In that Saint Denis versus Dos Santos, Saint Denis just wanted to stand and bang with Easy Dose, and he only shot when he was really, really hurt. And yeah, but Salikov took him down. The Leech took him down. So he's liable to be taken down. I don't think he has elite pristine takedown defense. And yeah, Fakradinov, I mean, 25 win streak, just an absolute fucking boogeyman. It looks like still questions that got to be answered. Not the best uh level of competition, but Michailidis, say what you want. A lot of people saying he should have finished Michailidis. He beat the fuck out of him, and he dominated for 3 rounds. So that's that's pretty impressive to me. Then the Brian Battle fight. I think between the Michailidis fight and the Brian Battle fight, those are 15-minute fights. So that's 30 minutes combined. Renat had 28 minutes of control time in those fights.
dominant. He is just a
28
dominant. Yeah,
of 30 minutes. That is to control a grown man like that for 14 out of 15 minutes. And the Brian Battle win is obviously aging fairly well. He beat the fuck out of Brian Battle, knocked him down, almost subbed him a couple times.
I was on Brian Bett on that fight. I was kind of
Yeah,
annoyed.
yeah, and
Yeah, Brian.
you'll probably one of many because
Yeah,
we see what Brian Battle's doing now. We see
yep,
the talent, right?
yep.
And then the Kevin Lee fight, people are just saying, "Oh, Kevin Lee's washed." Blah blah blah. I was on Kevin Lee. I took the shot on Kevin Lee at plus money in that fight. Obviously, I look like a dumbass now, but I thought Kevin Lee could pose problems. Stuff some takedowns, and what happens? Renat shows his evolution. He knocks his fucking clock off with a clean 1-2 and puts him to sleep. Kevin Lee did not wake up for like 5 minutes, and when he woke up, he had no idea where the fuck he was. So yeah, I mean, I'm
We
still
have both gotten burned trying to fade this man, and we're not doing it
exactly, yeah.
anymore. Is the short
And
story here.
people are still trying to do it, right?
This
If you're
guy's
trying to
good.
fade Fakradinov, do it down the line or stay away from this fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can. At least in my opinion, I don't think it's smart to be fading this man right now and this point in his career. But and he's still evolving, right? You mentioned his age at 32. His hands look a lot cleaner. You know what I'm saying? He looks a lot more patient on the feet, not just desperate to wrestle. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I worry about in this matchup, again, uh, Easy Dose is dangerous. He's getting up there in age.
He
He's
can
almost
knock you out.
37.
100% he can knock you out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He can knock you out. He's very diverse with his strikes, very nasty kicks. Not the most technical striker, but can get his boxing off. The only thing I worry about with Renat is Easy Dose catching up with something up the middle. He has nasty knees up the middle, nasty front kicks. That's the only thing that I worry about. He can knock Renat out with one of those strikes up the middle, while Renat's trying to
He's
come
gotta
in.
catch
But
him level change. Yeah, mid-level change.
catch him level change and hit him with a devastating strike. But that's kind of a meme KO, right? That's kind of that would be kind of an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Kind of one of those meme KOs. So yeah, I think Renat gets his game plan off. I think he takes Easy Dose down. I think Easy Dose gets back up, but Renat is just fucking relentless. Renat is a monster. So yeah, I'm not gonna be fading him anymore. I learned my fucking lesson. Obviously, they got the odds wrong on ESPN. That's hilarious. They got Renat plus 300 on ESPN.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm
Give
in
me
at
all my
that.
fucking money.
That's a mega will max right there. But yeah, give me Renat. I'm gonna parlay him. I think he has a chance to look minus 500 in this fight. I really do. So
I'm with you.
I think he's liable to finish Easy Dose as well. So yeah. So moving on, next fight we have on the queue is Rodolfo Vieira fighting Armen Petrosian. So using the Picket Sports app, best price I can get right now on Armin Petrosian is plus 100 on DK. And best price you can get on Rodolfo Vieira is minus 105. Eli, any thoughts on this fight?
This is the one. This is one of the few fights on the card I think that should be like a good, interesting fight. It's kind of hard for me to try to tell you who's going to win. I mean, Petrosian is a really smart kind of tactical fighter. Looks really good against Christian Leroy Duncan. Leroy Duncan was kind of just like fighting like an idiot. I feel like in that fight too, though. But Petrosian was able to kind of take advantage there. Vieira looked really good against Brundage. Chris Curtis, is Chris Curtis, and I think I feel like I did something with that Chris Curtis fight that I was mad about. I don't remember if I like bet Chris Curtis knockout or something, but no, this is one I'm gonna. I mean, he got submitted by Anthony Hernandez, who I'm pretty low on. So I don't know. I feel like Petrosian here got into my head, but yeah, this should be a fun one.
Yeah, so I'm on the Armand side. I'm on the Armand Petrosian side. I haven't bet it yet because I was waiting. The line just kept flipping. Armand was minus 110, then plus 110, then minus 110. So I was hoping to see what I just saw now, which is that he's plus 100 on DK.
I'm in.
I'm gonna go in on that. Rodolfo Vieira, obviously, this is one of the most binary fights on the card. It's wrestler, it's striker versus wrestler. It's one of the more closest line fight on the card, which makes for an interesting fight from a betting perspective as well. But yeah, Rodolfo obviously is dangerous. BJJ black belt, a credential BJJ black belt, and super nasty on the ground, just absolutely world class on the ground. So obviously, there's going to be some areas where Petrosian has to be careful. A lot of people, everybody and their mothers point to Petrosian's takedown defense. I think it's only like 31%, 32%. But what I love to see is the urgency to get back up, and I think his takedown defense is getting better. Obviously his last fight out, you mentioned it, the Christian Leroy Duncan fight. Christian Leroy Duncan is one of the brightest prospects. He was undefeated going into that fight.
Didn't he just look
And
dumb in that fight though? Christian, he just didn't look like
yeah,
he
he's a
looked like he
dummy.
had a fight IQ of 2 in that fight.
Yeah,
Like, come on, bro.
he's a dummy, and I think he's going to continue to get exposed. He wants to strike. I think he's very confident in himself, which I think is dangerous. For him, I think it's dangerous. He's super confident. He relies on his length and his athleticism way too much, and not enough with technicality. And that's what Armin was able to expose. And I think that's what Armin can do in this fight. Stay on the outside. He's going to be bigger. Guys see in the picture right there. He's going to be bigger. He's going to have a longer reach, and I think he stays on the outside, and I think he picks Vieira apart. If he can stuff a couple of round one takedowns, I'm going to be rock fucking hard. You know what I'm saying? Because that means his win equity is goes through the roof. I think he does find himself on his back at some point during this fight, but like I said, he shows urgency and a really really good get up game, which is the two things that I want to see. So I think the most likely path for Petrosian is to win by decision. I
Yeah,
want to
I
try to
agree.
get the best line. I think Bet365 had like a broken ass line. Like I think they had like plus 700 for Armand by decision, which is obviously crazy. It was much much lower on other books, so I'm going to get the best price on that. I think that's the most likely scenario. Armin just has to stay safe. You know what I'm saying? If you find yourself on your back, stay safe. If he somehow finds himself in top position, stay safe. But yeah, I mean, Rodolfo's um, striking is not good. I don't like his striking defense. I don't like his striking offense, and I think Armin can absolutely piece him the fuck up. So, if Armand was minus 175, minus 200, excuse me, I'd have a lot more hesitation. But yeah, plus 100, I am all the way in. It might be a 1.5 unit play for me. Maybe a 1 unit, and then I sprinkle on Armin by decision. But yeah, I really, really like Armin in this spot.
I'm in. I'm in with you.
All right. So the next fight, I don't have any thoughts on this fight.
That's
It's the Baralio fight and the Magomedov fight. I think I think Calby at minus 300 is wide. I really do. I don't think Abu should be plus 250. I think this fight is going to play out. I can see this fight playing out a million different ways in my head. So obviously that screams just to lay off. So are
Yeah,
you gonna
I'm
you
with
gonna
you. I'm
okay.
with you. The like I mean, I definitely lean Baralo, or however you say his name, but I don't lean this line is too wide. Like the Magomedov's lost to Sean Strickland now looks like, hey, yeah, sure, you absolutely lost. You should have lost to Sean Strickland. Like that looks like a really good loss at this point, even though he got knocked out in the second round, right? But I'm not seeing it enough out of Baralo to lay anything more than minus 150 on.
Yeah, I'm hearing some really interesting things this week about Abus, right? People are for some reason making excuses for this man for death gassing after 4 minutes. Like, oh yeah, Sean's the champ now. Oh yeah, Sean's pressure does that to everybody. First of all, I think if Sean would have lost to Izzy, I don't think anybody would be trying to make excuses for Abus.
Yeah, 100%.
And Abus dominated round one. Like, how do you dominate round one and then he absolutely broke early round two? Like, if you want to see a grown man break and just give up on himself, you watch the Sean Strickland fight. It was ridiculous. A couple minutes into that round, he just folded. So
Izzy
I
kinda
can't.
folded, man, you know? Izzy did kinda
I mean,
fold
Izzy
too.
lasted 5
Yeah.
rounds.
Yeah,
Izzy,
you're right. Yeah, he
you
did.
know, Abus turtled up. Abus
Yeah.
just he was dead. He was death gat, like nothing left in the tank. 2 minutes into the second round in a 5 round main event.
Yeah.
Like
I'm no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I can't unsee that shit. So I think Abus is live, which is why I'm staying off for this fight. I would actually lean Abus to win this fight, but I'm staying off. I can't back somebody when the last time we saw you in the octagon, it was that. So I just
Yeah.
can't personally do that. The next fight I also don't love. I'm gonna retape this fight tonight and see if I can find an angle that I love. But I mean, Rodrigo Nascimento fighting Dontel Mays again. We saw this fight already. Nascimento kind of dominated that fight, which is probably indicative in the line. Nascimento be a -200. Rematches are weird, bro. We rarely see the same fight, in a rematch. So I just have a weird fucking feeling about this fight, which
Why
is
the
why I
hell
want to.
is this
What's up?
fight an accident?
I
Why
don't
the
think
hell
so,
we
my brother.
like
Yeah, I don't. We should not be seeing this fight again, but we are. I think they needed a heavyweight, another heavyweight fight for this
Uh,
card. I really don't
I'm
know.
out. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I'm out as well. I am out as well. Like I said, I'm gonna retape the fight. I'll let you guys know on Twitter if I, have anything. I'll let you guys know on GoldBoys as well. But yeah, I'm off of it, so we can move on. So
Like, I real quick, I wanna move
yeah,
on too. I
yeah,
like Rodrigo here, but when I look and I see you lost to a Dauskas brother, I'm out, dude. I'm just out.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's different if it was -110 each side, but you're laying 2-1 on Rodrigo, which
Yeah,
I'm not fully comfortable with. So next fight
3, 2, 1, let's
is.
go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. Next fight, Gabriel Bonfim
On
against
Fame.
Nicolas Dalby. So this is the only Bonfim fight we're gonna see tonight. His brother missed weight by almost 5 pounds, and that fight got canceled, which is sad. I was a lot more intrigued from a betting perspective on that fight, on his brother fighting. But yeah, obviously, super juice line. I'm seeing, where is it? Bonfim -550. Best price on Nicholas Dalby is +495. Any thoughts on this one, Eli?
Um, I'm 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 very, very high on Gabriel Monfils, as are most people. I'm not gonna call him a locked in future champion, but I think I texted you a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I can't wait to see Shavkat and Gabriel Monfils have like 3 title fights, because I think those 2 guys are the future of this division. No offense to Leon or Kamaru or anything like that. When I look like 3 years down the road, I think it's Gabriel Bonfim, and I think it's Shavkat Rakhmonov. Um, but also, I mean, Nicholas Dalby, he's been around. He's got power in his hands, but no, Bonfim should cruise here.
Yeah. So my thoughts have changed obviously a little bit now. I did a show with my man Dan on Wednesday, and at that point, Bonfim was pushing -700, which is absurd. That implied probability is like 90%, I think, or
Yeah,
close to
it's
it.
crazy.
So you can't even really parlay, -700. You need a really juiced second leg for that. But yeah, I mean, Bonfim obviously spectacular, right? I took the time, I took all of the 5 minutes it took to watch his entire UFC career, and holy fuck, that's what I came away with. Undefeated, 15-0, 15
And you can
finishes.
all of that, and there's not even that much film on him
Yeah,
to watch, because
yeah.
he just beats the hell out of everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. That's why I said 4 minutes it took me to watch his whole
Yeah.
fucking career.
Seriously, literally.
15-0, 15 finishes, 12 subs. And it's just like, pick your poison. I mean, guillotines, rear nakeds, triangles, arm triangles, just absolutely fucking electrifying. He's pretty wild on the feet, extremely aggressive, nasty jab, fast, long, powerful jab pause, nasty hooks. He throws in combos, which I love. crazy power. Like as soon as the bell rings, he's in your face, throwing bricks at your head, willing to stand and trade, despite which is concerning to me. He's completely willing to stand and trade, despite his elite offensive wrestling and grappling. Striking defense is a concern. We've seen him hurt. Um, Actually, no, I don't think we have. I may be thinking about somebody else, but the
Bonfim?
striking defense, yeah,
I
Bonfim.
don't think he's ever been hurt in his life.
Yeah, I think my notes are wrong. His striking defense is a major concern. When he's throwing, his chin is wide up in the fucking air. He just nobody's really tested it. So, he's absolutely running through guys. But when he chooses to wrestle, extremely fast, extremely technical entries. He's great on top, heavy, always hunting for the finish. Nasty Gilly, right? He's jumped Gilly, I think, twice already. And normally, you got to bet on a guy that's jumping Gilly. You're like, oh, please, no, don't jump Gilly. But him is different. You know what I'm saying? His squeeze is
It's
different.
insane, dude.
Yeah, it is different. So when he jumps Gilly, I'm clapping. Now I'm like,
Yep.
okay, this fight is gonna be over in the next 10 seconds. So, but I say
Does
all
it
of that.
Go
What's
ahead.
up? No,
Nope,
what's
go
up?
ahead. I was gonna say, does it concern you that Nicolas Dolby is undefeated in Brazil against Brazilian fighters?
I peeped that. I think my man Dan mentioned that as well. So I say all of those great things about Bonfim, right? But Nicholas Dalby is no fucking slouch, right?
He has
He
that
is a
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a UFC vet. He got that dog in him, extremely tough, and this is a major step up in competition for him. So I'm not trying to make a case to pick Dalby even at these crazy plus
No.
odds, but Dalby has fought the who's who of the division. You know what I'm
Fought Darren
saying?
Till in 2015.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Darren Till,
Also
right?
fought Dos Santos that's on this card in 2015. Like, that's
And
crazy.
beat
He's
him,
been around.
in a
Yep,
close fight.
yep.
Yeah, been around the UFC forever. This is his second stint with the UFC. You know, I don't. It's going to be hard to justify a minus 700 line, right? It's come down, which is why
I think
I'm
it's
going
gonna
to.
keep coming down.
I hope so, because if it
I think
keeps
it'll keep
coming
coming
down,
down.
then I'll parlay Bonfim. You know what I'm saying? I can't parlay Bonfim at minus 650, minus 700. If it keeps coming down and he gets to like minus 500, I'll parlay him. I got no problem with that. I think the most likely,
The casual fan, I think, is gonna that's gonna log in and be like, "Oh, there's UFC for me to bet on tomorrow," is gonna jump on Dolby, I think.
maybe. Yeah.
I think we'll see the odds. It's not gonna get, minus 300 or anything like that. I think we could see a, minus 4,
Yeah.
something like that tomorrow.
Yeah. And I hope so. I think the most likely scenario is Bonfim does what he does to all his other opponents, takes him down, chokes him out. I think the sub is like plus 125. So that's obviously very, very telling. The books are telling you what they think is most likely going to happen. But I don't want to understate how much of a challenge this is for Bonfim. Bonfim,
Yeah.
Dalby's not, top of the food chain. Dalby's not an elite talent, but Dalby
It's a jump up,
Dalby's a
yeah.
measuring stick. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So if Bonfim comes out and finishes Dalby in 2 minutes, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be completely impressed, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
I'm saying let's see Shavkat let's see Bonfim Shavkat 1, the
Yeah,
first iteration in, like, February. I'm in, let's go.
yeah, let's do it. So that's how I feel about the fight. Obviously, Bonfim is gonna win. I'm not trying to, spend a lot of time on a minus 600 favorite, but I think Bonfim wins. I think it comes by sub, but Dalby's tough, bro. Dalby's tough. So I would not be surprised if this is a really grimy, dog fight. I would not be shocked at all. So all right, let's move on. Try to get you guys out of here in a reasonable amount of time. So, main event of the evening: Derek Black Beast Lewis, Mr. KO King, Mr. I'm gonna knock your face off your face.
I love this
Derek
fight
Lewis
so much, dude.
going against Jailton Almeida, the absolute boogeyman of the
I love
heavyweight
this fight,
division.
man. I love this
So,
fight.
best odds right now. This should be fun to look at, huh? Best odds right now, if I can fucking find it.
They're bad.
Derek Lewis plus 400. If you like you some Derek Lewis, get 4-1 on your money. Best price on Jalton Almeida is minus 450. So it's actually coming down a bit. We actually, some steam on the Derek Lewis side. So
I think we're gonna see that too.
I hope so. I hope so. So I can continue to hammer Jalton. I really do hope so. But yeah, kick this one off for us, my brother. Main event of the evening. What do you think?
Listen, Almeida should absolutely win this fight, right? It should absolutely win this fight, and he probably should cruise a little bit. I can't lay that much juice on him. I think you're hoping it comes down, because very, very skilled, right? You look at this heavyweight division, you take John Jones and Stipe out of this equation. We're talking about Pavlovich, we're talking about Aspinall, who are fighting next weekend. And this is the very, very clear cut if he wins this fight and cruises like he should. Um, he should probably get the heavyweight division sucks right now because John Jones is hurt, obviously, but, um, again, take them out of the equation entirely, and that fight next weekend is for the heavyweight title like it should be. You know, this guy's probably got next, right? Kind of respecting him a little bit for taking this fight. Um, on short notice, Derek Lewis, because it's kind of a no-win situation for him. I feel like if he would have beat Curtis Blades like he was supposed to fight originally, then it's very clear, right? Yeah, this guy's next, right? Whatever the hell happens with John Jones and Stipe, they fight, they retire. The interim belt becomes the actual belt. Whoever wins next weekend, and yeah, he's got next, right? He's the next guy. Um, but that's not what's happening, right? But at the same time, but also like Derek Lewis can absolutely knock you out, right? Like we saw that with the Lima last fight, with one of my favorite octagon happenings ever. Like not only he does that flying knee, he takes his pants off and he humps the air and does the whatever. And I love Derek Lewis. So we're gonna see can he actually keep him down? Because Derek Lewis is big for heavyweight. Derek Lewis has to cut weight to get to 265, which is kind of crazy. And Almeida is very small for heavyweight. I think he actually spent some time at middleweight earlier in his career. Came up from light heavyweight. Could still be fighting at 205. I think he's good. What do you weigh in? Do you know what he weighed in at on top of your head? Like 220,
236.
236. Okay, a little bit heavier than I thought. But still, I mean, definite size advantage for Derek Lewis, and at the same time, also Almeida is very predictable. He's got three moves. He's got the jab, he's got the front kick, and he's got the double leg. Right, so um, it should be very clear to Derek Lewis what he needs to do. He's got to land one shot. He's got to land it early, and he's got to land it, off of one of the three moves that Almeida have. I would like to see a little bit of growth out of Almeida. Like let's show some diversity here. I don't know, just working some clinch game, working something different. Show us something else because I think you take those three moves against Aspinall. I don't know. That's probably a pretty good fight. But again, shout out to him for taking this fight. I think I kind of still want him to see him fight Curtis Blades for that next title shot. Personally, um, when Derek Lewis could actually absolutely knock him out, and then he's got to win 2 or 3 more fights before he gets a title shot, right? Especially with situation heavyweight. So, yeah, I said all that to say I'm probably definitely going to sprinkle Derek Lewis round one knockout just because it's going to be fun and I like Derek Lewis. But yeah, he should cruise. He should cruise.
Yeah, Derek Lewis knockout round one is 10-1. Have to take that. Have to
Amen.
take it. Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
I'm gonna sprinkle it as well. You have to. You have to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Lewis. I mean, like you said, against De Lima, right? Amazing, right? Like
One
they're
of my
like
seriously, I've
yeah.
never had more fun watching a fight, and that was a 30-second fight,
Yeah.
whatever. Not even 10
And
seconds.
Marcos has come out after the fight and said that he's still having problems like with his teeth and shit. Right. So
Yeah.
that's that's Black Beast for you right there. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Black Beast before I absolutely you know blush about fucking Almeida. Derek Lewis, absolute legend. Like I said, knockout king. Think about all of the knockout artists that have been in the UFC, right? Anderson Silva, Justin Gates, like all of those guys, Dustin Poirier, all of those guys, John Jones, right? All of that. Derek Lewis has more knockouts than those guys. Absolute
Insane, dude.
legend. Some of the most, in my opinion, iconic moments in the octagon, right? When he that uppercut against Curtis Blades on the entry, right? The last second knockout versus Volkov when he's getting dominated for 3 rounds, and then last 10 seconds of the fight knocks him the fuck out. Just crazy. Even the bad times, right? The Francis Ngannou fight when nothing fucking happened. It was yeah. So absolute legend of the game. He's fought the who's who, been in the UFC for a while, just signed a new contract, right? 8-fight deal.
Turn
So
could
congrats.
could have probably made buku money to fight Ngannou while this thing was taking forever to get booked to. So also shout out Derek Lewis for staying with the UFC and keep getting it. Sorry to
Yeah,
cut
I
you
don't think the UFC would have booked that fight again out of just pure fear. of the first fight, but who
No,
knows? Who
I'm
knows?
saying before he signed this UFC deal, like he was in negotiations with PFL to go fight Francis outside, and
Oh,
then
really? I
not
didn't
with
know that. I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
before he
crazy.
resigned with UFC, yeah.
That's fucking crazy. But yeah, shout out
Imagine
to
the
him, right?
money. Imagine the money he would fucking make.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now you gotta go get fucking knocked out by by Almeida on his way to a title shot. Come on, man.
And I
Right.
really don't know why you take this fight, right? On short notice, obviously, Almeida was supposed to fight Curtis Blaze, which I think is a much more intriguing
'Cause he
matchup.
don't give a damn.
Yeah, I know he don't, but he's gonna get finished, and it's gonna be like I don't, I know Black Beast don't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I love him for it. Absolute savage, absolute gangster move, you know what I'm saying? So, and we've seen him step up, no matter what, no matter what, short notice, doesn't give a fuck who. And yeah, moving on to the Almeida side, absolute destroyer, boogeyman of the heavyweight division. 14 fight win streak, won all six of his UFC fights, including Dana White's Contender Series, all in under 8 minutes. 19 wins, 19 finishes. Elite offensive wrestler, grappler, especially at heavyweight. He's gonna give up some size. Derek Lewis weighed 30 pounds more than him at weigh-in, so he's always gonna give up that size to heavyweights. But what he gains is massive athleticism gap, massive speed gap in the heavyweight division. Everybody knows what he wants to do. He wants to take you down, he wants to beat you up, and he wants to finish you. Nobody can stop it. His last five, so all five of Almeida's official UFC opponents, so not including Dana White's Contender Series, all five of those opponents landed a combined 27 strikes, which is madness. Great timing, great speed on his entries, elite top control, and a fight IQ. For somebody still kind of new to the game and new to the UFC, the fight IQ is through the roof, especially on the ground. Very smart, right? He knows what these heavyweights want to do. These heavyweights want to explode, right? They want to buck them off. They want to explode to try to get back to their feet. Even on the feet, very smart, right? He's patient, very smart, calculated. His strikes are all calculated, it seems like. Very slick transitions on the ground, just one step ahead of guys. That wrist control that he keeps on these heavyweights while he's on the ground is elite, right? He's wrapping up a wrist and you're one armed and he's beating your fucking face in. You know what I'm saying? So he's absolutely ragdolling guys that are 30, 40 pounds heavier than him on fight day. That guy,
It might be 50 plus tomorrow. Might be 50 plus.
it might be 50 plus for sure.
'Cause
I forget the
Almeida's
guy's
not gaining
name.
any weight. Almeida's not gaining any
No.
weight tonight.
Yep.
And Derek Lewis is probably gonna gain some weight tonight. Derek Lewis might walk in at 280 tomorrow.
Yeah. Like the Shamil fight, right? The announcers were talking during that fight about how he I weighed him by 30 pounds. Yeah, Almeida's picking him up and slamming him
Yeah.
and just dominating him. So, I'm hearing some people talk, including my man Dan. My man Dan mentioned, you know, Derek Lewis has shown the ability to get up from bottom,
He
but a
just
lot
stands
of
up.
it,
He doesn't believe in
yeah, he
jujitsu.
just he just
He's like, I don't believe in
yeah.
jujitsu. I
I'm just
just
gonna
stand
stand
up.
up now. Yeah.
Hey, like
But Almeida's
I will say this, if I see Derek Lewis stand up in round 1, I'm hammering Derek
no,
Lewis
don't do
money
that.
line
Don't
live,
please
live.
don't do that.
I'm doing it
Okay,
100%.
so I'll tell you why. I want you to watch the Sergey Spivak fight versus Derek Lewis. I want you to
I
watch
watched
that
it.
fight. Well, you can watch it on fast forward. Just watch it like 10 times speed and just watch Spivak. And that's what Spivak does, right? Spivak loves to mat return you, right? He'll let you up just to mat return you and wear you out. He took him down, must have been like 20 times in that fight. And granted, Derek Lewis got up 20 times, but it was just right back to the mat every single time. Almeida's not going to give him the chance to get up, I don't think. He might get up once, but Almeida's just going to be so much quicker, so much more technical, so much more explosive on the ground. He knows what these heavyweights want to do. Like I said, they want to buck you off. He's not just going to let Derek Lewis stand up, right? Derek Lewis got to give something up if he wants to stand up.
Yeah,
He's
but
going to
Derek
get through a
Lewis,
hit.
he just stands up. He doesn't believe in jujitsu.
I mean, yeah, I
He just
guess,
stands up.
he's
Dude, you're
going to have
right. I'm not arguing with you.
he's
I'm
gonna have
pretty
a,
sure
a nasty Brazilian on his back trying to stand up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, I'm fairly long winded at this point, but Jonathan Almeida is gonna win this fight. The over under in a 5 round fight, 5 round main event is 1.5. The under 1.5 is like minus 300, right? So, yes, like Eli said, I'm gonna sprinkle the round 1 KO because you have to at every single Derek Lewis fight that happens. I'm also gonna sprinkle Derek Lewis to win in the first 3 minutes of the fight, which you should be able to get like plus 1,200, plus 1,300 on
I
that.
like that better.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sprinkle on that too. But
What is
Jonathan
the
Ahmed is
first
gonna
30
win
seconds?
this. Yeah, that's gonna be insane. That number's gonna be insane. Just want you to know that.
I'm doing
Yeah,
it.
Jonathan Ahmed is gonna win this fight. It's gonna happen in the first or second round. If you think Lewis can survive round 1, you start to get really, really good odds on, Jailton Almeida and fight to start round two or something like that, right? Even fight to start round two, you might get pretty good odds on that. So yeah, Jailton Almeida is going to cruise in the spot. Jailton Almeida is going to wear heavyweight gold one day. It's just a matter of when. I don't see anybody in the
Think he
foreseeable
beats
future.
Aspinall?
Yes, absolutely.
I
Aspinall's
need to
not
see
going to
I need to see
consistently
more.
stop the
I need
takedowns.
I need to see more. I'm
Mhm.
not saying outright no. I need to see a little bit more diversity because I think, he's elite. He's elite.
Yeah,
I think he's top 3 in
you want to
heavyweight
see
right
more
now.
striking. You want to see more striking.
Yeah, and I wanna see a little bit more, like I said, he's got 3 go-to moves, right? I just need to see a little bit more diversity for him. I still would like to see him beat Curtis Blades, because I think timing, there's gonna have to be another fight for him, just how
Yeah,
the division's working out.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, but the other thing I'll say coming back is, like, we saw, my god, Shevchenko, who beat her? The hell's her name, dude? I bet on
You
her.
talking about the fight that just happened?
No. Yeah, the draw. What's her name? Shevchenko, who the current champion at 125 or whatever it is,
Oh,
in Logan.
fuck, I'm blanking on the name now too. I'm really like such a fucking casual.
God,
Yeah,
Grasso.
I'm
So
blanking. Grasso,
we
Alexa Grasso. Yeah,
we
yeah,
saw Alexa Grasso planning for that one opportune move where she can jump
yeah,
on Shevchenko's back, right? We
yeah.
saw the same thing with, the first, I guess, the second Leon Edwards, Usman fight, right?
I
I
know
think
exactly what you're gonna say.
I think that there is a similar potential opportunity here for Derek Lewis to know exactly what's coming when it's coming because it's one of 3 things, and to be able to jump on an uppercut or that flying knee, whatever you want. So, um, again, I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate here because we both think Almeida is going to cruise, but at the same time, every Derek Lewis fight is fun.
If Derek Lewis flying knee KOs Jailton Almeida,
Call call
you'll
off
never hear from me again.
Call off if that happens, I'm gonna say it right now. Call off Jones and Stipe, and Derek Lewis should fight Francis Ngannou for the UFC and LFA combined heavyweight titles. Not LFA. What am I
That
saying?
is fucking ridiculous.
Who's Ngannou signed with MMA? What I think it's so late. I want to go to bed.
PFL.
PFL thing. I've said LFA twice since PFL. But imagine if that happens, dude. I need Derek Lewis and I need Francis Ngannou like next weekend for 2 heavyweight belts. And John Jones can just vacate his like he should have done 2 weeks ago. Go ahead.
You will never hear from me again if Derek Lewis flying fucking knees or even uppercuts him on an entry. You'll never hear from me again. So I'll be dead to you. But yeah, I mean, I agree, right? Derek Lewis has that equalizer, right? So we can't count him out. But yeah, I think this one is fairly easy in my mind. I might use Jalton as an anchor on a couple of parlays. Yeah, I think he fucking cruises. I really do. And yeah, that wraps us up. So I know this was a little bit late. We're trying to find a time that kind of works best, right, for everybody, for you guys, the listeners, for us. When the most people can tune in, when people can digest the content as efficiently as we wanted to. Because we put in a lot of work for this, you know what I'm saying? We put in a lot of work and we want to put out the show every single week and we want to make sure as many people can see it as possible, kind of make our work worth it. So yeah, I
UFC is
think
the
this is
most time consuming sport. I stand by this. It's the most time consuming
100%,
sport
bro.
because every single weekend you have a completely new roster of people that fight twice a year. Imagine
Mhm.
if the NFL had 400 teams and 20 of them played twice a year. You have to watch film on those 20 teams within a week. It's crazy.
And
So
all
shout
these
out to Finesse for consistently winning money in the sport. Go ahead.
I appreciate you. And all these debutantes, you trying to find regional footage on them, and
You
it
get into
just yeah,
the Asian fighters, you have to get into, like, the weird freaking rabbit
yeah,
holes of Chinese YouTube to
yeah.
watch
You
these
gotta
people
buy it
fight.
from the dark web or some
I
shit.
don't
Yeah,
do that
it's
shit.
crazy. Yeah, you gotta like send a pigeon to get the fucking tape for you.
I gave
Yeah, I
4 people
mean,
my Social Security number just to watch,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why I always feel guilty, when I take days off or say, listen, I'm not betting today or whatever because I have work to
Yeah.
do. I always feel guilty about that shit. I never want to do it, but it's like I gotta watch
Yeah.
6 hours of tape. You know what I'm saying on these fighters? It's fucking crazy. But yeah, so we hope you guys are enjoying. I appreciate the people that did tune in and the ones that'll tune in before fight time. But yeah, the show has been amazing. You know, I've enjoyed the guests, I've enjoyed the communities surrounding the show. We've made a shit ton of money from the show. And yeah, I always enjoy it. I love talking fights. Best thing in the world for me. So yeah,
That
Eli, I
card next
appreciate you hopping
weekend
on.
that
Yeah,
card
next
next
weekend is gonna
weekend
be a
is so good.
movie. Yeah, we're gonna have some good guests next weekend. Eli's gonna be here with me. We're working on some other guests. So yeah, if you got some time, tune in. It'll probably be Friday again, maybe Saturday. Who knows? But we'll let you guys know. We appreciate you guys for watching. We right back here next week. It's gonna be a great card. Watch it if you can. We're gonna make a shit ton of money. I'll drop some free stuff on Twitter. If you're not already, GoldBoys.com. Get all of my plays, all the Eli plays. Eli just cast a plus 400 regular shit. And yeah, shout out to the sponsor of the video. Wouldn't be possible without the sponsors. Sleeper Picks, best DFS platform in the world. You know, if you're in a state that's not necessarily legal, download Sleeper, get yourself a deposit bonus. Use code GoldBoys, code Eli, and pick your sports. You need to shop the best lines. Always need to get the best lines. Why pay minus 150 when you can pay minus 120? It doesn't make any fucking sense. So completely free app. Download it. Use it.
They
Use
give
code
you
Eli.
$3.
Yeah, they
Use
give
code
you three
FTR, don't
dollars.
use mine.
Yeah, they give you $3 and it's a free app, completely free platform. So yeah, shout out to the sponsor of the video. Shout out to James for producing up late, hardest working man in television. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. We are gonna wrap it up there. So I'll talk to you guys when I talk to you. See you guys next week, and
Let's
let's make
go,
a shit
Black
ton of
Beast,
money.
Derek Lewis, money line. No, I'm just
Stop
kidding.
that. Stop it. Stop that.